Hello everyone, I'm Ryunosuke Kamito from Nagasaki Higashi High School. I'd like to start my presentation on the theme of peace message communicated through trees and how vegetation recovered after the bombing of Nagasaki. Here's the presentation flow. First, I'd like to introduce myself and my school. My name is Ryunosuke Kamito and I'm 17 years old. My name in Chinese characters looks like this. The The left one is read as Kamito, and the right one is read as Ryunosuke. And this Chinese character is read as Ryu, which means dragon in English. What a wonderful name. And I'm in the table tennis club in my school. My hobbies are hiking and music. I often climb mountains and I love the insects I encounter there. I love to play the music and I can play the guitar. And recently, I have been practicing beatbox. Do you know beatbox? It's like a. Thank, thank you very much. And next, I'd like to introduce my school. My school is celebrating its 80th anniversary this year, next year. And it is located on the top of the mountain, so you can see the very beautiful scenery from my school. This is the buildings of my school, and this is a beautiful scenery seen from my classroom. Now, I'd like to start my presentation. Plants have encouraged many atomic bomb survivors. In the Nagasaki World Damage magazine, it was a faint sprouting of grass and trees that gave people a glimmer of hope for life. In addition, in the atomic bomb manga Hadashi no Gen, there's a scene of budding wheat. And this scene is a striking symbol of hope for life. Therefore, the restoration of vegetation and trees is an emotional support for the atomic bomb survivors and also a sign of Nagasaki's recovery. The purpose of my research is to learn disarmament, peace, and the recovery of Nagasaki by learning about the recovery of plants and trees in Nagasaki. To achieve this goal, I collected information. With cooperation of Nagasaki Photographic Preservation Society, I collected photographs from various periods after the bombing in Nagasaki. And also, I consulted the variety of reference reports about Nagasaki atomic bombing. First, let me explain about the damage to trees. Most of the trees within 5 to 6 kilometers from the hypocenter were damaged. They were burned by the heat rays and knocked over or broken by the blast. Most of the trees were gone immediately after the bombing. Here's a photo taken from the sky. It is black and white, but you can see how all trees were gone immediately after the bombing. And I'd like to explain the damage to the forest. This shrine is called Fuji Shrine. And Fuji Shrine is located just on the border of the extent of the damage by the atomic bomb. So the hypocenter side was damaged, but other side is less damaged. As you can see, the right side of the forest were less trees, and the other side still have many trees. Even among the trees and plants which survived the atomic bombing, they have some plants and trees have deformities. This is a pumpkin which have the vines coming out of the fruit. This man is called Furuno Takeo, who is conducting the detailed research on the effect of atomic bombing on the agriculture. However, his data was confiscated by the US military, and to this day, the data was not published yet. What's more, in the case of the damage to the forest, according to the Kyushu University, which conducted the research 2 months after the atomic bombing, said that many trees of cedar and pine forests were reddish. This case is very similar to the red forest in Chernobyl nuclear power plant accident. This photo is a red forest in Chernobyl. You can see many pine trees were died due to the radiation. Now, I'd like to show that changes in vegetation in Nagasaki. I collected the photo of Urakami Cathedral. There are a lot of pictures of Urakami Cathedral, and since the mountains are in the background, so I tried to show the changes in vegetation by using these photos. This photo is taken before the bombing, and this is a current photo of Urakami Cathedral. Before the bombing, around the Urakami Cathedral, the areas around the cathedral was used for farmland, and now it became the forest or residential areas. Let me explain about the Urakami Cathedral. This is a Catholic church in Nagasaki, and built in 1895, but collapsed due to the atomic bombing, and rebuilt in 1959. It was once known as the largest church in the East and characterized by its brick constructions. The left photo is taken before the bombing, and the right photo is taken immediately after the bombing. As you can see, there are no trees and no plants. Yes. And this is the same photo or immediately after the bombing. And the right photo is taken 2 years after the bombing. As you can see the greenery from this photo, although it is black and white, but you can see that vegetation is gradually recovered. According to the records, grass and trees began to sprout out 1 month later. Many trees with broken trunks also sprout anew and restoring the landscape. At first, there were many deformed leaves and deformities, but they naturally recovered. So the restoration, as I said earlier, the restoration of vegetation led to the hope for life, and these strengths of plants encouraged many atomic bomb survivors. And next, I'd like to discuss peace. In this research, I am indebted to the Dr. Masayuki Suzuki, who is a researcher at Tsukuba University and conducted the research on atomic bomb trees. Let me explain his thoughts on trees and peace. At first, when we speak about peace, there's a historical background and interest among nations coming to play. However, trees are objective in distance. And trees do not belong to any country. So it can be a medium for universal consideration of peace by people all over the world. I believe this research of mine can be a means of communicating the damage caused by the atomic bombing and communicating the reconstruction of Nagasaki and also the recovery of spirit of many Hibakushin. In the world of competing interests, even if we are open, honest about peace, our actions will unwittingly disregard someone else's opinion. So, how about looking at the twin bombing from the perspective of trees and plants? you have a different impression on atomic bombing. In addition to the atomic bombing, there are other ways to view peace from the perspective of trees, such as the effect of defoliant in the Vietnam War. Through looking at trees, we can learn not only the strength of life, but also how difficult it was for the spirit of many survivors to recover after the atomic bombing. It seems that the natural environment has the power to appeal to humans' hearts, regardless its origins. So I hope that everyone will take this opportunity to confront the peace through trees. For supporting this research, I would like to thank Dr. Suzuki of Tsukuba University and a member of Nagasaki Atomic Bomb Museum Photographic Archive, and Mr. Tori, Mr. Ichinose, and Mr. Matt for their English corrections and guidance in my research. Thank you for